Hi there, welcome to another edition of Fly Tying with the Montana Angling Company. Today we're going to be tying the Frenchie. And so the Frenchie is more of a style of tying, right, than a particular fly, but there is a fly called the Frenchie, and it's a Lance Egan sort of tailwater tactical fishing pattern, and so that's what we're going to do. But really, you know, it's any slim, heavily weighted nymph that we use primarily as a depth finding type deal and a Euro nymph rig. And so yeah, and so to start we're gonna do this one on a Hanak jig hook. This is the Jig Superb in a size 14 with a copper slotted tungsten bead, and for thread we'll have a pink ultra thread in the 7D denier. And so yeah, we'll start by just tying it in, working our thread back. And with the ultra thread, just because it frays a lot, usually I give it a little snip. And then our bead moved just a touch. We got to make sure with these slotted beads that it's riding in that furthest position forward. And so to start, we're going to actually tie in just an amber ultra wire in small. And this is a good time if you sort of thread it into the slot and push on the bead a little, you can get that bead to stay right where you want it to the rest of the time. Just a good tip for tying with those slotted beads. I'll give it a couple passes, real thin thread, and yeah, tie it in. So now we're going to make our pheasant tail body, and we'll pick off just a handful of pheasant tail fibers and just a nice clump. Maybe in this case, maybe 6, maybe even a couple extras. But you know, the key thing with all these sort of Euro nymph type flies is you never want to overdo the body, because the primary goal is getting our fly down to the fish with these Euro nymphing rigs. And if you have a bunch of extra material and, you know, sort of lightly weighted stuff, it's not going to do its primary purpose, right? And these are kind of a tractor type patterns, so you need them to get there fast, get them in front of the fishes, and just give them that split second to make a decision. We'll kind of measure out our tail and tie it off and yeah, wrap it forward. And then I like to just bring the fibers back, and then they'll be ready to palmer back forward, and we'll tie that off. And then we do have to build up our body just a little bit to compensate for those extra fibers. But we don't need to go all the way to the bead, because we'll be bringing in that ice dubbing at the end. So yeah, we've got our nice body, and we'll just palmer our fibers forward. Making our sort of pheasant tail type body, but maintaining that slim mayfly profile. And you know, I mean, from guiding on the Missouri River, the Bighorn Rivers, if there's one thing I can tell you for sure is with pickier tailwater fish, those mayfly bodies especially have to be slim. I mean, they don't like those fat flies. So we want to keep it sort of as trim as possible. And this is going to be a pretty slim little bug right there. It'll get down fast and just give them that decision. And then we'll wrap our ultra wire forward to give it that, I mean, I guess a little bit of weight, but more just, I think, the durability of, and the contrast, the segmentation in the body. And we'll just wrap it as far forward as we want, tie it off, and give it just that little helicopter. And then a couple extra wraps, just to kind of, and I like to use these wraps to kind of measure how wide I'm going to make that collar, just kind of our hot spot. Then we'll take our ice dub in UV pink, pull out a little, go ahead and dub it on the thread, just like so. And you don't need a whole lot here. I mean, you can always pick it off, but it's just a little bit of a hot spot, right, to give that fish sort of the do or die presentation. Make our little collar, and then we'll put a little glue on the thread. And this is such a quick, easy tie. I mean, you can just crank these out by the dozen. If I wasn't talking so much, I'd be tying this a lot faster, but yeah, how it goes. So now we'll whip finish it. And with this one, a couple whip finishes is fine. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with kind of getting that pink in there and really trying to get our fly pretty durable and that bead locked in place. And yeah, we'll snip it off, and there we have it. Egan's Frenchie on a jig hook. Great little bug right there. Hope that was a help.